Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, on this Independence Day weekend Saturday, we've got episodes of Call the Police, Freedom USA starring Tyrone Power, Suspense, an episode entitled The Tip, Barry Craig Confidential Investigator, and an episode of Claudia. That's all straight ahead on this Saturday, 6th day of July, 188th day of the year, 178 days remaining. Sir Thomas More beheaded after refusing to join Henry VIII's Church of England in 1535. In 1885, Louis Pasteur successfully treated a patient with a rabies vaccine. In 1942, Anne Frank and her family sought refuge from the Nazis in Amsterdam. In 1944, a fire caused by inept fire eaters in the main tent of the Ringling Brothers Circus in Hartford, Connecticut, killed over 160 people. In 1957, Althea Gibson won the Wimbledon's women's singles title, the first black person to win that event back in 1957. On that same date, 1957, John Lennon, Paul McCartney of the Beatles met for the first time.
A mutual friend brought him to see my group called the Quarrymen. And we met and we talked after the show, and I saw he had talent, and he was playing guitar backstage and doing 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran. And I turned around to him right then on first meeting and said, "Do you want to join the group?"
The twosome met at the Woolton Parish Church in Liverpool. In 1997, the Mars rover Sojourner rolled onto the Martian surface, and in 2013, a Boeing 777 operating at Asiana Air Flight 214 crashed at San Francisco International Airport. 3 killed, 181 injured of the 307 on board. Passing away on this date in history, novelist William Faulkner, also Louis Armstrong, passing away on this date. Van McCoy, The Hustle, heart attack taking him on this date in 1979. Roy Rogers passing away on this date. Buddy Ebsen, Jerry Weintraub, and Charlie Daniels all passing away on this date in history. Birthdays today include a perennial presidential candidate, Pat Paulson. Making the formal announcement. This is a presidential candidate
Excuse me, a little decorum here.
Be civil. Pat Paulson, hello, sir.
Well, I'm just happy as a clam to talk to you guys.
You know, he looks like a clam, too.
Well, we are... now, behave yourself.
I'm sorry.
Listen, guys, the formal announcement is that I'm making my headquarters in Branson.
Oh, so you will be making your headquarters for this election run in Branson, Missouri.
Right. I'm going to let the people come to me.
So is that where you came up with this slogan, United We Sit?
No, actually, I got on the ballot already in New Hampshire, and I came in second out of 23 running as a Democrat against Clinton. In fact, I got 3 times as many votes as Lyndon LaRouche, so I'm on my way.
So,
wow.
So you're heading for it here.
Yeah.
Now you're running as a Democrat this year, not.
Yeah.
I remember in the past you ran on the ticket of the Stag Party. Is that correct?
The first was that's the Straight Talking American Government Party.
Yes.
Funny when you take those letters out.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah, but we didn't intend that to be a joke.
Yeah.
Mr. President, Mr. Paulson, this is Dave Hand. I would be, of course, honored to be on the same ticket with you and to serve as your vice president, and would look forward to serving in your stead as president if the occasion should arise.
Well, I'd like that.
Mr. President,
I think any president requires some assassination insurance these days. I think Dave would serve that role wonderfully.
He would be absolutely perfect for the role.
Yes,
thank you, Mr. President. Mr.
By the way, you were supposed to be with us an hour ago. I wondered if maybe you were perhaps dining at McDonald's as the president does.
Well, I do. I am a simple, ordinary, common man, and
I've always thought that.
You don't agree so fast.
Well, see, he's trying to be a good vice presidential candidate. Doesn't that involve
I'm a good
up?
yes man, Mr. President.
Yeah, you're going to have to do everything I tell you to do.
I know.
You're going to be like a barking seal.
Can I walk your dogs, too?
Yes, you'll be doing all of that. Well, we only have one. We got a Yorkie.
Well, Mr. President, Mr. Paulson, how do you feel about the reemergence of Ross Perot in this presidential campaign season?
Well, I don't know. Has he reemerged yet? I was flying yesterday, so I don't know. What did he do?
Well, the rumors are ripe in Washington, D.C. and all across the country that he's he's out there, he's going to make another stab at it. What do you think about that?
I think he ought to go back to his old job modeling for Mad Magazine.
Pat Paulson, a few months before his passing in 1997, actually this might have been as early as 1995, but he passed in 1997. Very, very funny man. He got into trouble over some of those remarks that he made there about Yakov Smirnoff, because he was appearing at the same comedy club as Smirnoff, and we caused a little havoc with that interview. Pat Paulson born on this date, as was Commander John Paul Jones. Sebastian Cabot, you probably remember him as the butler in The Family Affair, but he was also a spy in a program called Checkmate as well. First Lady Nancy Reagan, born on this date. Bill Haley, a Bill Haley in the Comets, born on this date. A man who was a singer and a game show host, but he also developed game shows. He was behind Jeopardy! Merv Griffin, born on this date. Della Reese, born on this date as well. And actor Ned Beatty, celebrating his birthday in heaven today.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
Birthday number 45 for Kevin Hart. The twins, Tia and Tamara Mowry, 46 years old today. The rapper 50 Cent, Curtis James Jackson, is 49 years old. Sly, Sylvester Stallone, is 78, as is President 43, George W. Bush, 78. Country singer Jeannie Seeley is 84. And Robin, Burt Ward, turned 79 today.
Well, there was 378 Holies in Batman in the original series, and it worked out to be about 3 per half hour, because there's 120 episodes, 380, so it was about 3 per half hour. This has got a lot of the Holies in there, and they're really intelligent Holies. They're not just tied into, like I remember there was a thing in a spaghetti factory in the original series, and I said, "Holy ravioli, Batman!" But these Holies are every bit direct to the situation, but they're richer, they're deeper, they're all of a sudden they're 2016. They're not past, they're current.
Holy, here we go again, Batman. Holy whiskers! Holy birthday cake! Holy headache! Holy ball and chain! Holy triple feature! Holy slip disc! Holy known unknown flying objects! Holy hamstrings! Holy mucilage! Holy rainbow!
They took it all to a different level, didn't they, in that 1965 Batman series. Burt Ward, 79 years old today. Those are just a few of the people who celebrate the 6th day of July as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday,
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
All right, we're going to head back to the summer of 1948, July 6, 1948, 76 years ago. The replacement series for that summer of the Amos and Andy Show, a police procedural, Call the Police. That's coming up next here on this Saturday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Friends, this is Bob Hope. If an atom bomb were to hit your home city, would you know what to do? Remember, one explosion of an atom bomb could kill 75,000 and maim 100,000. This is only one kind of a disaster which could strike. In addition to many forms of enemy action, there are the dangers of fire, flood, earthquake, and traffic. Knowing what to do before, during, and after a disaster can improve your chances of survival. There is something you can do and do now. You can learn a pattern of survival. Your local Office of Civil Defense is ready to help. Persuade your club, your church, your friends, and your neighbors to help to learn to live. Remember, this is the atomic age. No one can escape its hazards, but everyone can prepare. Listen carefully. What you are about to hear can save your life. Do you know the siren signal in case of atomic attack? Do you know how to find shelter? Do you know how to give first aid? Do you know what will be done for your safety? For further details, consult your local office of civil defense.
Be prepared, whether it's a bomb or anything else. Do that. All right, let's go back to the summer of 1948. The summer replacement that season for Amos and Andy, Call the Police. This episode, entitled The Suntower Mystery Mansion, was broadcast July 6th, 1948.
Renzo, new Renzo with Solium presents Call the Police.
Attention, homicide section, flying squad detail. Murder suspect in your zone. Close in according to instructions.
Between you and the evil outside the law stands the policeman of your community. He gives up his safety that you may be safe. And sometimes he gives up his life to protect yours.
New Renzo, the soap that contains Solium, the scientific sunlight ingredient, brings you Call the Police. A new series of realistic radio dramas inspired by the courageous work of police departments all over America.
This is Commissioner Bill Grant. Case number 4208 in the Ashland police files was a nightmare. A black panic we try not to think of on moonless nights as the case of the Suntower Mystery Mansion. The case really began when Mrs. Potter, a devotee of occultism and wealthy mistress of Suntower Mansion, hired a mystic gentleman named Michel Brullier to serve as a cross between a servant and a ghostly ringmaster. This I knew was unhealthy stuff, but it didn't become my business until a few months later, one ugly, rainy night. That was the night Mrs. Potter returned from her European junket. On hand to meet the train was, of course, our boy, the mystical Michel.
And Mr. Potter?
Gerald stayed over in New York. He'll be in the morning.
He will not be pleased when he gets here.
Michel, you look different. So worried.
The night after you went away, I made a mistake.
Mistake?
I was lonely in that enormous house, Sybil. It was natural that I should want to talk to our friends. But I was guilty of some fatal oversight.
Michel.
Suddenly, there was an infernal music and laughter. And then, as I stood trembling, a throne of skulls manifested in the center of the room. And there he sat.
Who?
I think the master of darkness himself. I remembered the exorcisation of Balsami. Vade magister sinistrus. I shouted those words, and the room was suddenly empty.
Oh, thank heaven.
But all is not well. I do not think the house is a safe place for you, Sybil.
Oh, what have we done? What have we done?
We will talk about it inside. Come.
Oh, there must be some way, somehow, of undoing the harm.
Sybil.
Yes?
I'm sorry. The key to the front door. I've left it inside. You go on ahead. I will let myself into the cellar and open the door for you.
You won't be long, will you? Where will this end? Where will it end? Gerald warned me. He said dealing with the beyond is dangerous. Someday you'll discover too late that... What was that? Michel! 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 Oh, thank heavens you... Oh, no. It isn't you. Oh, no. No! Let me out of here! Let me out! Let me out!
holiday yesterday, same as you. We spent most of the day at the beach. But first, my wife said she wanted to do her regular Monday rinse-o wash. And what's more, she wanted my help. Well, you know, I got a big kick out of it. And I found out one thing. A woman has a lot more wash to do than I knew about. First, she did all the white things. Tablecloths, sheets, dish towels, and my shirts. And say, the wonderful way that rinse-o wash turned out was something to see. Whiter, actually, than brand new. The colored washables, like my wife's good cotton dresses, her ginghams, and my pajamas, were even brighter than brand new. That's the astonishing thing that happens when you use new Rinso with Solium, the scientific sunlight ingredient. Clothes come whiter and brighter than new. Only Rinso can do that because only new Rinso contains Solium. Even on rainy days, even when clothes are dried indoors, new Rinso puts sunshine in your wash. It's so safe for clothes and kind to hands. New Rinso with Solium.
Mrs. Potter, the wealthy addict of occultism, was driven home from the station by her mystic soothsayer and servant, Michael Brullier. Half an hour later, she was found strangled to death in the hallway of her enormous home by a passerby who had heard her earth-rending scream. That was the beginning. But there was more to come, lots more. And all bad, as I discovered as soon as Libby and I walked into Suntower Mansion.
There's the body, Commissioner.
So I see. You were the gentleman who heard Mrs. Potter's cries, came in to investigate?
Yes, I happen to be passing by. I'm a doctor.
And the name?
Robert Martin.
Any details, Dr. Martin?
The woman was obviously strangled. Marks in her throat, face contorted.
Make a note, Libby.
All right.
If you'd like to have me make an official report at headquarters...
What's this?
Commissioner.
No, look.
It's our lad, Brullier.
Commissioner.
What's the matter, Mr. Brullier? Run into a strong-arm spook?
This man is hurt. Whoever attacked him meant to kill.
What went on here, Brullier?
I brought Mrs. Potter home. I forgot the key. I went into the cellar to let her in.
Where's Mr. Potter?
New York. Stayed over. Not expected back until the morning.
You were going through the cellar to let her in?
Yes, I started to run up the steps. She was calling my name, and then from somewhere, something hit me, and I lost consciousness. Is she all right?
Not exactly.
What is the matter? Where is she?
On the floor in front of you.
Sybil.
Dead.
Dead? No.
He's fainted.
I think it was genuine shock.
If it was, doctor him up. Revive him.
Yes, sir.
Libby,
Yes, Bill.
let's take a walk. I want to give this monkey house the once-over. Libby and I had worked our way through a dozen massive hallways and up and down as many massive staircases, getting nowhere but lost. And a sound from very nearby stopped us in our tracks.
What's that?
I thought this joint was empty.
Oh, what is that, Bill?
We'll soon find out.
What's the idea? What does this mean? Why,
Oh, Commissioner Grant. Well, if it isn't Mr. G.F. Potter unpacking his expensive luggage. Come on in, Libby.
All right.
What are you doing here? I'll tell you if you tell me.
This is my home.
Rumor had it that you were in New York.
Rumor's correct. I was. I just got in.
When?
A few minutes ago.
What time?
What
time did your train get in?
At 11:15. I just arrived from the station.
Seen your wife since you got in?
No, I came in quietly through the side entrance. I didn't want to disturb her.
Where do you think she is?
Well, she got in a couple of hours before I did. She's probably in her bedroom, sleeping peacefully.
She's on the drawing room floor, G.F. And she's dead.
What?
Murdered. Corroborate, Libby.
Your wife has been murdered, Mr. Potter.
May I come in, Commissioner?
Sure. Mr. Potter, this is Dr. Martin. He discovered your wife's body.
I just wanted to report that Michel Bouillet is coming around.
Good.
And one other item. I applied artificial respiration, and when I removed his coat for the purpose, this fell out.
A letter?
Under the circumstances, it seems a little bizarre. Postmarked 3 weeks ago, foreign stamp.
Interesting. Mr. Potter has just returned from Europe. Let's see it.
Grant,
relax, Gerald. My dear Brullier, I'm aware that there's a romantic relationship between you and my wife. You may think I will overlook this affront, but I assure you that I will avenge it if it means death for both of you. Signed, G.F. Potter.
Give me that
Sorry if it annoys you, Gerald, but you wrote it with your own little hands, and you kept your word. Brullier is alive by the skin of his teeth. And a little over an hour ago, you murdered your wife.
You're insane. Why, my train didn't get in until 11:15.
Take it, Libby.
All right. Hello? Yes? Yes. Oh, I see. What time was that? Sure, I'll tell him, and thanks.
Tell who?
Mr. Potter, that the airline is holding the briefcase that he left aboard the plane.
What plane was that?
The one that arrived from New York at 6:30 this evening.
Well, G.F., what's the answer to that one? Before I turned around, Potter was making tracks for the open door to the terrace. I gave chase. He turned and let me have both feet in the solar plexus. It sent me crashing back into the wall of the house, but the recoil was too much for him. And he went over the railing, howling like a horrified banshee. Potter lay still where he fell. We went down to the drive below and heard Dr. Martin's diagnosis.
Just a broken rib, Commissioner.
You sure that's all?
I'm absolutely certain.
Dr. Martin accompanied his newly made patient to the city hospital where his rib would heal under the watchful eye of a guardian of the law. The sergeant and I proceeded to the International Airline Terminal to claim Potter's briefcase as material evidence. While we were driving back, Brullier was beginning to feel a little better at Suntower House, and Libby was doing some unrequested overtime.
Unofficially, Mr. Brullier, I think you know a lot more than you've said. And on the other hand, I don't think that you're guilty.
You are right both times.
Then who are you shielding? Of course, if you don't want to talk.
Miss Tyler, do you believe in the powers of evil?
In this world or the next?
Either one.
I believe in them in this world.
And how do you feel about them?
I hate them.
Are you sure?
Look, Mr. Brullier, I only took up police work because I thought it was the best way I knew of to protect the rights of decent people.
Very well. I shall tell you.
Tell me.
This murder was actually the work of a man named Lefebvre.
Lefebvre?
Yes, a murderer and villain from my native island of Hawaii in the Caribbean.
Where is he now?
Where? Where is the wind that brings pestilence?
What?
He is everywhere.
Listen.
Sacre bleu.
What's that?
Monster.
No, you're not to get up, Mr. Brullier. You're not strong enough.
Let me go. Let me go. Stop it. Stop it, you fiend. You fiend.
Mr. Brullier. Mr. Brullier.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop
Oh, Mr. Brullier. Mr. Brullier.
5 minutes later, when Maggio and I walked into headquarters... Hello? Hello? Who is it? Hello?
Bill?
Libby. Hello, Libby. Libby, hello. Hello, Libby. I yanked Maggio along on the double. Back at Suntower House, I must have taken the marble escalade in 3 leaps, and then... I stood in the doorway of the second-floor bedroom.
Bill?
And there I saw Libby on her hands and knees, dragging herself toward me.
Bill?
literally over the dead body of Michel Bruyere.
I'm sure all women like new Rinso with Solium, but there's one particular kind of woman to whom it makes a really special appeal. That's the kind of woman who likes to keep everything she owns fresh, new-looking, and shining, as nearly perfect as she can. New Rinso with Solium actually makes the clothes you wash turn out whiter than when they were brand new, and the washable colors brighter than brand new. You can't do better than that. And as a matter of fact, no other soap can do that for you because no other soap contains Solium. So if you want your table linens, towels, and your house dresses, too, to have a brilliance you've never seen before, use new Rinso, the only soap that contains the scientific sunlight ingredient, the wonderful Solium. You'll find that even on rainy days, even if you have to dry a wash indoors, Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Try it on wash day. Safe, soapy rich, new Rinso.
When the second murder occurred and Michel Bruyere was found strangled to death at Suntower Mansion, we got Libby out of the joint fast. Back at headquarters, she began to talk to Maggio and me, incoherently at first, and then...
Bruyere was just telling me that the murder was committed by someone named Lefebvre.
Lefebvre?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wait a minute. There's a thing in the paper about a guy named Lefebvre.
What about him?
He's a guy who's running for president in an island in the Caribbean.
Got the article?
Yeah, just a second. Here it is, page 3.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh. Hanoi, July 3rd. Edmund Lefebvre has announced his candidacy for president to replace the late Manuel de Guerra, recently assassinated by the aroused population.
It couldn't be the same Lefebvre. He's 2,000 miles from here.
Go ahead, Libby. Bruyere mentioned Lefebvre and...
Well, and suddenly there was this music. This wild, unreal music and the heavy pounding of a drum and people laughing down below.
What people laughing down below?
No people. The place was empty.
What are you telling us, Miss Tyler?
What happened? Just what happened? I can't explain it any more than you can.
Who's that?
Come in.
I just dropped by, Commissioner, to say that our patient is conscious and under police guard in City Hospital.
Potter?
Yes, I just left him.
He couldn't have slipped out about 45 minutes ago.
No, definitely not.
Then that lets Potter out.
Sure it does. It's obvious what we're dealing with here. Ghosts, goblins. Maggio.
Yeah?
Go out and round up a witch doctor and hand him the case. Get a real Lollapalooza with a two-headed mask.
If I might suggest...
Huh?
I was going to say that since we all know that ghosts don't exist, we might make a simple assumption in this case.
You mean somebody could be rigging up a ghost scare?
Possibly. Though I can't imagine the reason.
The reason? Or could there be anything valuable at Suntower House? Dr. Martin.
Yes, sir?
Is Potter well enough to have a little conversation?
Yes, he is.
Okay, let's get to the hospital. He's the boy to give us the answers. You better talk, Potter. If you didn't kill your wife, you intended to. Somebody had gotten to Sybil before you, and you gave us that phony timetable alibi because you were scared.
But I've told you all I know, Commissioner. But there's nothing of peculiar value at Suntower House.
Are you absolutely certain, Potter?
Yes. There's nothing in any of the rooms that we know about.
Rooms you know about? What does that mean?
Well, there's some lost space in Suntower House. That's all, Grant.
That's all, is it? That's all? Come on.
Well, we rebuilt the right wing, and the architect did a sloppy job and left a foot or so of the floor space out of the new blueprint. It was really a better house the way it was when we bought it from him.
From him? From who?
A foreign chap named, something like Lefebvre.
Lefebvre?
Yes. Why, yes. That's it. Edmund Lefebvre. He was somewhere from the Caribbean, the island of Hanoi, I believe.
I made a beeline for the original architect of Suntower House and came away with the blueprints. Burning the 10 o'clock oil with compass and slide rule, I finally scared Maggio out of a year's growth. There it is. There it lays. I got it.
Holy smoke.
Compare, my ever-loving Watson. A fast glance betrays that there's a discrepancy yielding us 4.5 feet of unaccounted floor space in the attic reaches of Suntower House. Come on.
To where?
To the mansion. Come on.
Wait till I get my coat.
You won't need it.
My gun's inside.
I got a gun. You went up to that attic armed with axe and crowbar and started tapping for hollow sound. Maggio took the front wall. I took the rear, and then... Maggio.
Yeah?
The axe.
What do you find?
We'll soon know. Look at it crumble, Sergeant.
If you ask me, this is it.
There, have a look. It's the 4.5 feet between the real outer wall and this phony partition.
It's very nice, Chief, only it's as empty as a beggar's hat in Edinburgh, you notice?
I notice. But I also notice it's papered.
So?
Valuables can come in very small parcels, Maggio. Start ripping the wallpaper off wherever it looks a little loose.
As you say, Commissioner. Hey, listen.
Yeah.
That's what Miss Tyler said she heard.
Let them have a picnic down there, Sergeant. They can't stop us now.
I got an angle, Chief. Lend me a gun and you keep looking.
What are you going to do?
Fire a shot and see if it don't break up the celebration.
I kept working over the wallpaper while Maggio went out to the head of the stairs. He had fired that shot down into the darkness. I waited. The music was still. And then... 2 shots came up out of the darkness, and Maggio staggered into the room empty-handed and gripping his right arm.
Chief, Chief.
Maggio.
It's coming. Something's coming up the stairs. Listen.
What is it?
I only saw one.
My gun. Where's my gun?
I dropped it over the staircase when I got it in the armor.
What?
I think this is really it. I'm sorry, Chief.
There was a dark figure in the doorway. I reached reflexively for the gun that wasn't in my holster, found my flashlight, and turned it on the shadowy menace.
You will be wise enough to respect the gun, I trust.
You could miss with the light in your eyes.
Hardly with 6 bullets, Commissioner.
There's a logic in what you say, Dr. Martin. By the way, I just located the valuable. It was a roll of 16-millimeter film plastered behind the wallpaper where the former tenant, Mr. Lefebvre, left it.
I will take it, please.
What's this thing worth, Martin? Bruyere evidently considered it pretty important. He started the ghost scare here at Suntower House to keep people away while he searched.
What Bruyere did is none of my business.
Your rivals, weren't you? Both after this little roll of film for reasons of your own. You're only in agreement on one point. The ghost scare was a very useful smokescreen, a hocus-pocus worked with records and a public address system.
So?
But essentially, you and Bruyere were mortal political enemies. You must have been. You killed him when he was about to enlist Libby and the police on his side.
I have no time to talk.
You also killed Mrs. Potter to keep her from intruding on this vital hunting ground. But one point I don't get. Why did you enlist the services of the police?
I needed official help. I needed it badly enough to take the risks involved. I had to get those architects' prints and locate the missing room. Washington has discovered that I am here without a visa.
And you wanted me to wind up your unfinished business.
Just as you have done. And now, if you don't want to be the last business I finish, give me that film.
Not a chance.
Very well. Play it your own way. Best wishes, Mr. Grant.
Well? Well, who was it? Santa Claus? Or Libby Tyler?
Did I kill him, Bill?
No. It just knocked his artillery arm out of commission.
Oh, good news.
I got better news, Angel. He didn't kill me. As soon as Maggio came around, Libby and I ran the 16-millimeter films through in a private projection booth. They were documentary proof of Lefebvre's intimate association with certain ruthless elements in Hanai, enough to kill his chances for election. Brunier was after the film to squelch Lefebvre's chances. Martin, on Lefebvre's payroll, was in this country to destroy the film.
So, now what happens, Bill?
Michelle wins, Libby. The mystical man of goodwill.
How do you mean?
We ship the film to Hanai tomorrow.
And the mystery's over?
Except for one thing. How did you manage to appear just in time?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Well, I got on to Martin. I contacted the New York Medical Association, found out there was no listing at all for a Dr. Robert Martin, and I came looking for you.
Very sly little lady. And what do we get for it in the end? A movie.
At least a free movie.
Oh, it lacked a lot.
Oh, such as?
A finish. You know, a moment when the guy and the gal stand face to face and he murmurs something sentimental and then draws her to him.
Bill, please.
Well, what's the matter, sweetheart? I'm only trying to show you what I mean by a lovely finish.
Bill. Oh, Bill Grant.
Commissioner Grant will be back in just a moment with the Call the Police Award of Valor. This week presented to a police officer who drove his motorcycle headlong into a hail of bullets to capture 3 vicious bank robbers. But first, you know, there's no reason why your house shouldn't have the best there is. The problem's to know what is best. And once you try new Rinso with Solium, the scientific sunlight ingredient, I think you'll know what soap is the one for you. Try Rinso next wash day. See how white clothes come whiter than new. Washable colors even brighter than new. Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Remember, more women use Rinso than any other wash day soap in the world.
This is Bill Grant. Tonight we present the Call the Police Plaque of Valor and a cash award to motorcycle officer Robert C. Mayer of Los Angeles, California. While on traffic duty in downtown Los Angeles, Officer Mayer picked up a radio police call alerting all units to a bank holdup at 8th and Vermont. Wheeling his motorcycle, he roared in the direction of the robbery. Several blocks from the bank, Mayer spotted the holdup car as it careened around a corner. Skidding crazily for a half block, it crashed against a wall. The 3 bandits leaped out and, using the overturned car as a barricade, opened fire on the radio car number 71T, which had led the chase. Mayer rode his motorcycle directly into the hail of bullets. Then he, too, opened fire. The pitched gun battle lasted for several minutes before 2 of the robbers went down. Severely wounded himself, Officer Mayer apprehended all 3 gunmen. His high courage in face of direct fire, his resolute fortitude and gallant devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest tradition of the police forces of America. Congratulations to Motorcycle Officer Robert C. Mayer, Chief C.B. Horrell, and the entire police force of Los Angeles, California.
George Petrie was starred in the role of Bill Grant. Music was arranged and conducted by Ben Ledlow. This is Hugh James reminding you to be with us again next week when Lever Brothers Company, makers of new Rinso with Solium, bring you another exciting police case. Listen next week to
The Case of the Mandarin's Macaw.
Doctors proved it.
Lifebuoy Health Soap with its purifying ingredient Get Skin Cleaner stops BO as no other leading soap can. Doctors compared Lifebuoy and other leading soaps in 820 tests. These tests prove a daily Lifebuoy bath Get Skin Cleaner gives top 24-hour protection against BO. Refreshing, mild. Lifebuoy Get Skin Cleaner.
When you go into the woods this summer, be careful about starting a forest fire. Be sure to put out all cigarettes. Wet down campfires. Break every match you use in two. Forest fires can be prevented, but only you can do it. Be sure to listen next week to Call the Police.
There you have it from 76 years ago, July 6, 1948. Call the Police here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, a syndicated series starring Tyrone Power, Freedom, USA.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Fred McMurray. Home shelters can be built for as little as $100. Simple plans for building inexpensive home shelters are available free from your Civil Defense office. Ask for a copy of the Family Fallout Shelter booklet.
And visit civildefensemuseum.com for more information. civildefensemuseum.com. Now we go back 72 years, July 6, 1952. Tyrone Power in the syndicated series Freedom, USA, where he plays a United States Senator.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to hear the story of a United States Senator. You are going behind the scenes of political Washington, into the Senate chambers, the cloakrooms, the private offices, the meetings, secret and public. The locale, the background, are factual. Only the names and the stories are fictional. This is Freedom, USA. Starring Tyrone Power as a Senator of the United States, and featuring the voice of America's distinguished news commentator and Washington authority, Edwin C. Hill. Freedom, USA, the story of your government today. In a moment, listen to Tyrone Power as Senator Dean Edwards in Freedom, USA. Now, we present Freedom, USA, starring Tyrone Power as Senator Dean Edwards and featuring the voice of Edwin C. Hill.
This is Edwin C. Hill, ladies and gentlemen. When a native of Washington, D.C. thinks of the nation's capital, he thinks of cherry trees along the Potomac, handline fishing from the seawall of Georgetown, or the peanut stand on Pennsylvania Avenue. But when the rest of the world thinks of Washington, the impression is that of massive monuments in the midst of clashing, earth-shattering confusion and controversy. Both impressions, of course, are valid. The monuments are here, and so is the peanut stand. The handline fishing is good, and the controversies are as bitter as ever. For proof of the latter, I take you now to the floor of the Senate chamber where fiery Senator Rouse, the noblest Roman candle of them all, is shooting off verbal sparks.
And so, gentlemen of the Senate, because this evidence cannot be disputed, I must claim with reluctance that my colleague, Senator Dean Edwards, is deliberately misrepresenting the facts. He is too intelligent, too wise to be the mere victim of misguidance. Therefore, I say that Senator Dean Edwards is acting irresponsibly with government funds.
Senator Edwards,
Well, say it.
All right, I'll say it. I think Senator Rouse is the one who's acting irresponsibly.
Now, easy, girl.
Well, he is, and you know it.
Rouse is an old hand at politics, Ginger. When he gets a chance to swing, he swings hard.
This time he was wearing brass knuckles.
No, he's sincere, all right, just happens to disagree.
Well, he doesn't have to use... Oh. Senator Edwards' office.
Ginger, quick, tell me how much you love me.
Who is this?
Badly, tenderly. Hurry up, this is a toll call.
Oh, Mr. Cody, just a minute.
Fred Cody?
Are you in?
Sure, I'll take it here. Hi, Fred. How are you?
Oh, terrible. Been reading about your little minuet with Senator Rouse. Can I lend you some scar tissue?
No, thanks. I'm developing my own.
Look, you want to get even with Rouse?
How?
Make a speech.
No one would listen.
Oh, you're wrong, friend. There's a convention in town. Aeronautical engineers. I'm convention chairman. I'll see that you get top billing at the big banquet, right over the Chicken a la King.
Well, thanks, Fred, but
I don't undersell this thing, Dean. These are the biggest civilian aircraft experts in the business. This whole issue is right down their alley.
Well, that's true, but...
Of course it's true. Now, you get started on a speech for tomorrow night. Maybe we can make a little history.
Just to clarify matters, gentlemen, let's review the situation a bit. Step 1. A few weeks ago, one branch of the armed forces complained bitterly about the new experimental transport plane, the XT-47. They claimed that events overseas in battle areas were proving that the XT-47 was not performing as expected. Now, step 2. In Congress, I proposed that an additional emergency sum be appropriated for research and development of a new, bigger, faster, better transport plane. Then the roof fell in. Step 3. Another branch of the armed forces prepared a report contradicting the original complaint, stating that the XT-47 was solving their problems, and as far as they were concerned, any further expenditure for a new plane was needless. One branch of the armed forces says we need a new plane. Another branch says we don't. I say we can't quibble with the lives of our fighting men. If there's a doubt about the XT-47, I feel the doubt should be removed. You aeronautical experts understand the problems involved. If you're inclined to agree with me, then I'll welcome all the support you can offer.
Senator Edwards!
Who?
Over here, me, Fred Cody.
Oh, yes, Fred.
I'd like to announce to you and to my cohorts here that the Cody Aircraft Corporation not only agrees with you, but we've gone the limit. We've already designed a new plane that will outperform the XT-47 in every possible way.
What's this?
The plans are on paper right now. My factory is primed to produce the first experimental model. All I need is that appropriation to put the plane in the air.
Old headline happy Cody. Never miss a chance to play to the grandstand, do you, Fred?
Oh, you mean my announcement at the convention? Well, why not? It dramatizes the issue. It makes this factory of mine look good, too.
Look, old friend, I've got the greatest respect for your work, but I don't like to be used as a springboard for your commercial nip-ups.
Yeah, I guess I kind of took advantage of you.
Right, and I don't like it.
Are you angry or just terribly, terribly hurt?
All right, I'll let you up. Let's see the blueprints.
Attaboy. Come on to my office.
Can you really produce this miracle plane, Fred?
Mr. Senator, I've made a business of grandstanding. When I pull stunts like that, I've got to be sure I can produce, or the grandstand will be empty the next time.
Okay. Sorry.
Here, sit down. Now, take a look.
This?
A beauty, huh?
But can you get this thing off the ground?
This thing will not only get off the ground, but it'll take 3 times the cargo of any aircraft in action today.
But it looks like...
If you don't believe me, Dean, just get me that government financing and I'll prove it.
Fred, I'm pretty far out on a limb now. Can't you invest your own money in this?
Dean.
What?
You've known me for years. Have I ever had an extra dime when I needed it?
No, but this factory is a success. Your work in aeronautics is top.
Right, this factory, my work in aeronautics. On paper, I'm a millionaire. But to build this plane, I'll need government financing.
Fred, this airborne brandy snifter of yours is, well, it's a pure experiment. An expensive experiment.
It'll pass every test your military experts give it.
But will it get by Senator Rouse? A plane as radical in design as this...
This plane is needed, Dean.
There'll have to be committee hearings in Congress.
Okay, I'm not afraid of committee hearings. Are you?
Chairman, the matter before this committee happens to be Mr. Fred Cody. I submit, sir, that a man of his background and reputation does not merit consideration as an investment for the United States government.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Order, please. Quiet, everyone. The chair recognizes Senator Edwards.
I'd like to remind Senator Rouse that Mr. Cody's background includes years of study, work, and unparalleled success in aeronautical engineering and the manufacture of aircraft. His reputation is based on that work and that success. A reputation for courageous pioneering and progressive contributions to the aircraft industry.
Senator Rouse, do you wish to continue with the witness?
I do indeed. Mr. Cody, I've seen the pictures and plans of this flying monster of yours.
I submitted them for that purpose.
Two branches of the armed forces disagree on the merit of the XT-47. Until they can agree, it's bad business for Congress to throw more money to the winds so that this playboy can experiment with nightmares of aeronautical design.
Mr. Chairman.
I still have the floor, Senator Edwards.
You were granted permission to question the witness, not to inflict your personal prejudices upon this inquiry.
Senator Rouse, if you have no further questions to ask Mr. Cody...
This is parliamentary hijacking. I will not yield to
The chair recognizes Senator Edwards.
Mr. Chairman, I demand...
Senator Edwards now has the floor, sir. All right, Senator Edwards.
Just a few questions, Mr. Cody. Have you submitted the plans for this plane of yours to our military experts?
Yes, I have. They were approved.
Has there been any official objection from a technical standpoint to this plane of yours?
None at all.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'd like permission to put a motion before this committee.
Permission granted.
My motion is based on two significant points. One, that there is disagreement about the merits of the XT-47, and no disagreement about Mr. Cody's proposed aircraft. Two, that as long as there's doubt about the XT-47, there is doubt about the welfare of our fighting men. I move that this committee act immediately to recommend an emergency appropriation for the manufacture of Fred Cody's flying monster. Fred?
Hi, Dean. Say, I never had a chance to thank you for pushing that recommendation through.
Never mind that. We're beyond the recommendation stage now.
Oh?
The Appropriations Committee has approved it. Now, for Pete's sake, Fred, make that monster work, or you and I'll be hanging from the nearest lamppost.
Just call me Frankenstein, Dean. I've completed the monster.
Great, Fred. Congratulations.
Oh, not yet. When do you see that big bird take off?
When do you test it?
Next Wednesday. And I've invited every big shot in the government to attend the test flight.
Including Senator Rouse?
Including Senator Rouse.
Then let's hope that monster of yours gets up and stays up.
Stop worrying, Dean. This bird was meant to fly, not to lay eggs.
Hi, Dean. How's she look to you?
It still looks like a brandy snifter.
Everybody get here.
Looks that way.
Where's Senator Rouse?
Over by the railing with the Inspector General.
Well, there goes my baby.
Good luck, Fred.
You too, Dean. We both need it.
Well, Cody, I must admit you deserve congratulations.
Well, thank you, Senator Rouse.
A mighty impressive spectacle you've staged with that plane of yours. Mighty impressive.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. Now, just watch it handle this landing.
Fred, what's that? What? That smoke there on the landing gear.
Smoke? Nothing. The thing's on fire.
Oh, no. They try to put it down with that.
They pull up. Tell them to pull up, Fred.
Tell them late now. The tower hasn't told them they...
Fred, look!
Now, back to Tyrone Power, starring as Senator Dean Edwards in Freedom, USA. and the second act of our story.
This is Edmund C. Hill, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 1 week now since the crash of Cody's Monster. 1 full grim week since the disastrous test flight of Fred Cody's controversial transport plane. The crew, as you know, escaped serious injury, but there's no telling how badly the crash has injured the career of Senator Dean Edwards. It was Edwards who endorsed and supported Fred Cody in spite of Cody's reputation as a playboy. It was Edwards who piloted the recommendation for the appropriation through the committee. It was Edwards who defied the bitter opposition of that stormy political strongman, Senator Rouse. Senator Edwards is unavailable to reporters at the moment, for he's dining with Fred Cody in the Senate restaurant, but he's not unavailable to Senator Rouse.
Well, Edwards, I see you haven't lost your appetite in spite of recent events.
Well, hello, Senator Rouse. Sit down.
Oh, thanks. Mind, Cody?
Oh, no, not at all.
What about the investigations of the crash, Cody? They find the cause yet?
We've located it, all right.
Incidentally, Senator Rouse, it had nothing to do with the fundamental design of the plane, just a matter of construction. Right, Fred?
Simple to fix. Too much friction generated in the power unit operating the landing gear. Just a matter
You
of...
intend to fix it?
Sure. Pass the salt, please, Senator.
How?
It's, right by your elbow.
Oh, here.
Thank you.
Just how do you intend to fix this landing gear trouble?
Well, according to the investigators, Senator, it's a matter of adjustment in the factory, not in the plane.
Should be able to have the plane rebuilt and ready to test again in about a month.
Can you handle the expenses on what's left of the appropriation? You don't expect more government funds?
I was hoping for more, yes.
And you, Edwards, how do you feel about this?
The investment's a good one, Rouse. A small added expenditure at this stage is just more insurance for the investment.
Edwards, you're either out of your mind or you're a fool. You seem to think that any expense is good enough as long as it helps your friends.
Now, wait a minute, Rouse.
I don't like your choice of friends, Edwards. They cost our government too much money. This time I intend to tie a big fat knot in the purse strings. Gentlemen of this committee, we have expended too many of the taxpayers' dollars on a monster, Cody's Monster. We would be fools, gentlemen. Blind, utter fools to permit Cody another opportunity to tinker with $1 million toy.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Edwards.
Gentlemen, I know that Senator Rouse is acting according to his conscience. I know his suggestions are offered in good faith. But I wish to point out to him and to all of you on this committee that Fred Cody's plane did not fail. It fulfilled every requirement demanded of it by the armed forces.
They got it up, but they couldn't bring it down.
The cause of the crash has been located. The adjustment is relatively simple. Any further sponsorship of this project only ensures our initial investment. Give this plane a chance to prove itself, gentlemen. Don't take a vital weapon out of the hands of our men overseas. I move that this committee recommend a new appropriation to supplement the original one.
Is there a second to Senator Edwards' motion? Do I hear a second to the motion? Motion defeated. The committee will proceed to new business.
Yes, Ginger?
Mr. Cody to see you, Senator Edwards.
Okay, send him in.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Fred. Come on in.
If your face were any longer, we could hoist a flag on it.
Sit down.
Now, where do we go from here?
Dead end. Got an opening in your factory for an ex-senator?
If we don't pull this out of the fire, chum, I won't even have a factory. You know, if I hadn't pulled all those grandstand plays, this mess wouldn't have gotten so much attention.
And you wouldn't be Fred Cody.
That would be an improvement.
Well, the thing's done. Forget it.
Yeah, sure. Forget it. I railroaded you into making that speech to the convention so I could make my big announcement at the dramatic moment.
Now, look, Fred,
And I had to invite all those VIPs to the test flight. Just a bit more caution, a few more tests. But no, I couldn't do it quietly. I had to beat the big drum.
Pardon, Senator.
Come in, Ginger.
I just wanted to put these letters on your desk.
Okay, thanks.
Ginger.
Yes, Mr. Cody?
How are we going to clear your boss of the Cody stigma?
Rebuild your plane, that's how.
I'll sign these letters and put them outside.
No,
Ginger.
wait a minute. How can I rebuild my plane, girl? Uncle Sam shut his pocketbook.
You have a pocketbook, haven't you, Mr. Cody?
Ginger,
Let her talk. What about my pocketbook?
Fred, forget it.
I know, Senator. I have no right to talk like this. But as far as I'm concerned, he has no right to ruin your career in Washington.
But he's not...
He is, and he has no right to do it. He has no right to take money from the government when he can't give them what they want.
But we couldn't get the extra appropriation.
Mr. Cody got one appropriation. The government gambled on him once. Let him gamble on himself for a change.
Fred, I'm sorry.
She's right, you know.
Where are you going?
Hunting. Gotta track me down a new mortgage.
Don't be silly. You've mortgaged your soul already.
Not yet, but I'm gonna do it now. It's one way to prove to people that I still have one.
Dean, here we go again.
The return of the monster?
Yep, she's all rebuilt and ready for testing.
Are we making history this time, Fred?
Yeah, we've got to. It's my money.
When's the test flight?
Monday morning.
Good. Now, let me know how it comes out.
But you know, aren't you going to be there?
Well,
I sent you an invitation along with all the others.
Others? Fred, you're not inviting that same mess of brass again, are you?
Sure, got to redeem myself.
But that puts you right smack on the spot again. Why don't you test it yourself first
Hey,
and then...
Senator.
I mean it, Fred. You got in a jam with that grandstand play once. Why let it happen again?
If it happens again, Dean, I'll eat that plane right on the Capitol lawn.
Yeah, and I'm afraid I'll be forced to share your meal.
See you Monday?
Yes, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Oh, Edward, Dean.
Oh, hello, Senator Rouse.
Seen your friend Cody around?
He's here someplace. Haven't seen him yet, though.
I just want to tell him how much I appreciate this gesture.
What gesture?
Oh, this whole thing, taking it upon himself to prove his faith in his own work. It takes courage to do that these days.
Fred's not short on courage.
I admire his loyalty, too, Edward. His willingness to invest his own money to clear your name.
My name's Clear, Rouse.
Oh, no, Dean. Let's not fool each other. If this test flight fails, you'll have a lot of talking
Hi,
to
gentlemen. I see a lot of eager faces here today. Anybody want to ride the monster with me?
Please.
I'm not kidding. Anybody want to take a ride in this big bird with me?
What are you talking about, Fred? You're not going up in it, are you?
Sure I am. I'm going to pilot the monster.
You? You're crazy.
Why, it's my plane. I designed it. I put my factory in hock to build it. The least I can do is prove my faith in it.
Aren't you carrying your gestures a bit too far, Cody?
As far as the monster takes me, Senator Rouse. Now, how about it? Want to join me in the pilot's compartment?
No, thank you. Not me. Take your friend Edward.
How about it, Dean?
Well, don't be a fool, Edwards.
Okay, Fred. Come on.
What?
Come on, let's go.
No, Edwards, you're not going up with that madman, are you?
If he were a madman, Rouse, I wouldn't go up with him. Come on, Fred.
Well, Dean, how does it feel to have both feet off the ground?
Pretty good. You ready to take this thing down yet?
Just about. Let's give the crowd a few more thrills first.
Hey, don't overdo it. Look, Fred, this bird has taken just about all the punishment you can give it. Let's visit planet Earth now.
You nervous?
Yes.
Me too. Push that button, Dean.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's that?
Landing gear. Wheels going down. If you smell smoke, chum, it ain't incense.
Now what?
Power, this is Cody. We're coming in, fellas. Power, this is Cody. I'm putting her down. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Remarkable performance, Cody. Remarkable.
Thanks, Senator Rouse.
How was it, Edward? Were you worried?
Worried? What was there to worry about?
The chair recognizes Senator Edwards. Senator Edwards?
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, this morning I received this message from Mr. Fred Cody, the rather colorful president of the Cody Aircraft Corporation. In reply to the requests of representatives of the armed forces, he writes, and the personal request of the Secretary of Defense, I wish to announce that I'm turning over all plans for the plane known as Cody's Monster to the federal government. Upon final approval of these plans, I will relinquish all rights to them in order that all government-approved aircraft manufacturers may bid to build the plane in quantities that will satisfy the need for this new transport. All I ask is enough orders to pay my bills and to take Senators Rouse and Edwards to dinner.
Edwin C. Hill again, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard the whole story now, beginning with the bitterness of controversy and personal conflict, and ending with the ultimate in national cooperation. Industry and government working together to preserve the essence of the American dream, the fundamental facets of freedom, USA.
This is Tyrone Power, friends, with one more reason why I like America. I like America because it has answered this prayer of Daniel Webster's. Let our object be our country, our whole country, and nothing but our country. And by the blessings of God, may that country itself become a vast and splendid monument, not of oppression and terror, but of wisdom, of peace, and of liberty upon which the world may gaze with admiration forever.
Next week, may we invite you to again visit our national capital for another absorbing episode of Freedom, USA, starring Tyrone Power. In the interest of good government, we urge you to listen to these important stories from Washington, D.C. Freedom, USA.
July 6, 1952, Tyrone Power, Freedom, USA, his only starring role on radio, and it would be about 6 years after he did this series of shows, September 1958, he would pass away of a heart attack in Spain while filming the epic Solomon and Sheba. He smoked a lot. He 3 to 4 packs a day. And he'd filmed about 75% of the scenes in the movie. He died while being transported to hospital November 15th, 1958. He was only 44 years of age. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox will continue in a moment. We tell you tomorrow is comedy. Our Sunday broadcast will include Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, also My Friend Irma. A CBS radio workshop adaptation of the Thurber tale, you could look it up, perfect for baseball season. Also, Rogues Gallery, an episode of the program starring Dick Powell, and another episode of Superman. That's all straight ahead. But right now, radio's outstanding theater of thrills.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Boris Karloff. No one can guarantee the survival of every home during a nuclear war, but a strong civil defense can save millions of lives. Make sure that yours is one of them. Learn how to protect your home. Call Civil Defense today.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 70 years to July 6, 1954. Lurene Tuttle, starring in an episode of Suspense entitled The Tip.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, a story of devotion in which a woman risks her life in order that her husband might be spared. It's called The Tip. Our star, Miss Lurene Tuttle. Thanks for driving me to the station, dear.
A pleasure, darling.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have.
Now, let's not start that again.
But the doctor told you to take it easy.
He didn't tell me to hibernate. My heart isn't that bad. We'll be together for a long time yet.
Thank God for that, Elaine.
I thank him daily. Here comes your train.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll be home as soon as I can.
Call me when you get here and I'll pick you up.
All right, if you must.
Oh, just a minute, mister.
What?
Won't you tip the cabbie?
Oh, of course. Here you are.
Thank you.
Eighth floor, Mrs. Stratton.
Thank you, Mr. Raymond.
Come in and shut the door. Sit down and be quiet. That's better. Just do as you're told, and there won't be any need for this gun to frighten you.
Who are you?
I was about to ask you that.
I'm Elaine Stratton.
Mrs.?
Yes?
Funny, I never thought of him as married.
Who?
Mr. Stratton, your husband. Where is he?
On his way to work. I just drove him to the
I
station.
guess I missed him. Hope you don't mind if I wait.
What do you want with him?
What do I want with him? I want to kill him.
What? What did you say? Why? What did he do to you?
He ruined me.
My husband?
Yes.
But that's absurd.
Not to me. I had my own business, a wife, 2 little girls. They're gone now, everything gone. Since Mr. Stratton came into the picture.
Well, how could he
He
have?
put me out of business, broke up my home.
Well, however it happened, I'm sure he'll straighten it out. If it's money you need.
He's had his chance. Only a week ago, I begged him to help me. But I'd had money then. My wife would have stayed. I told him that. He showed me out.
Well, maybe he didn't understand how serious.
He'll understand now.
Well, I'll help you. I'll make out a check right now.
Sure, and call the police as soon as I accept it.
Well, I swear.
No use, Mrs. Stratton. I'm going to be here when your husband comes home, and you might as well get used to the idea. There's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing.
Maybe if I just talk, you'll understand. All right, I know you hate him. I know you don't care if you're hung for killing him. I care, though. I love him. George and I, we grew up together. I know him better than you ever could. We went to school together. If I speak to him, I'm sure I can get him to do something if he was unfair to you. If you kill him, you might as well kill me, too. I'd be lost without him. Try to understand. Whatever you can get by murder, you can do better otherwise. There won't be any need for revenge. I promise you I won't call the police if you give us this one chance. I promise. I promise. I promise.
I don't hear a word.
I promise. I Elmer.
Listen, lady, it's 12:30 now. You've been at it for 2.5 hours. You can't possibly keep it up until your husband gets home.
You won't listen.
That should be obvious.
Listen.
That should be obvious.
It is. It certainly is.
Good. Maybe you'll be quiet.
Quiet. You expect me to sit here and calmly wait to see my husband shot by a madman?
What else can you do?
Well, I can call the police.
And I can stop you.
You can try.
Get away from that phone.
Go ahead, fire. Don't point that gun. Use it.
Put that down. I said put it
Let
down.
go.
Get away.
Oh! I'll try it again. I'll keep trying and trying.
Not with the wires ripped out, you won't. 1, 2. All right. Now you can play with the phone all you want to. What's the matter? Not interested anymore?
Why didn't you shoot me?
It wasn't necessary.
Is that the reason? Or were you afraid to?
Don't get any wrong ideas.
The noise might attract attention. Isn't that it?
It might.
Then for all your threats, you wouldn't use it.
Not until I had to.
Well, you have to. Right now.
No. All I have to do is tie you up, gag you until your husband comes home. Would you rather be tied up?
Oh,
What was that?
I don't know.
Expecting anyone?
I ordered some groceries on the way home this morning. Could be the delivery boy.
All right. Here's your chance to hear the gun go off. One wrong word out of you and I'll fire. But not only at you, at the delivery boy, too.
You wouldn't dare.
Try me then. I'll kill both of you. Whoever it is. If you say a wrong word, I'll kill both of you. You may involve an innocent party in your problems if you wish. The choice is yours. Go ahead. Open the door.
Good afternoon, madam. I represent the Better Products Company, and I wonder if...
Come right in.
Why, thank you, madam. Oh, man of the house?
No. Just a friend.
Oh, I see. Well, now...
We're kind of busy right now. Maybe you'd better come back later.
Oh, not that busy. He may have something I need.
Oh, I'm sure I have. Of course, I don't mean to intrude, but if you'll just take a moment, the Better Products Company, by way of introduction, is letting you have at no obligation to you one of these 3 items.
We're busy.
Please. These are free, is that right?
That's right, madam. Absolutely free at no obligation to you. Now, first, there's this handy little cuticle pusher. Second, this dandy plastic cover. Fits over any dish. And third, this beautifully carved letter opener. Take your choice, madam.
I think I'll take the letter opener.
A perfect choice. Yes, these are very popular. Now, if you'd care to look through this catalog, I'm sure you'll find many useful household products which you may want to order. On this page, for example, we have many specials. And this is the last day. You can save up to 30% by ordering now.
I do need some of these items.
Another time.
Why deprive the lady, sir? Of course, I didn't intend to intrude.
This way.
Wait, my sample case. Well, goodbye. I'll come back some other time.
I didn't like that.
I don't like you.
Don't try anything like that again.
Stay away from me.
Don't try anything like that again, or
I said stay away. Away!
Oh! By you!
Ow!
Now, drop that letter opener.
Take it from me.
I don't want to fire this thing, but I will. Drop that letter opener. Drop it! That's better. Now lead the way to your medicine cabinet. You're going to bind this cut for me.
No.
I said...
No.
I'm not fooling, Mrs. Stratton.
Ow! This way.
Oh, that hurt.
I'm glad. There.
Thanks. What's that bottle you take?
My pills.
You look healthy to me.
They're for my heart.
Oh, that's too bad. You shouldn't excite yourself.
Good advice.
Where are you going?
I'm following your advice. I'm going into the kitchen. I intend to calmly take my pills and calmly drink a cup of coffee.
I'll go along.
I was sure you would.
And brew an extra cup for me.
Here's your coffee.
Sugar.
I'll get it. Here it is.
It's hot. like it hot.
Glad to please.
Drink's yours.
Not at the same table, thank you. It's a little too chummy. I'll have mine over here.
Suit yourself. I hope you don't mind if I turn my chair around, though. I don't like to have my back to you.
Your manners, I'm sure.
That's right, my manners.
What time is it?
Look at the clock.
You're blocking it.
How's that?
Better.
What time is it?
Look at the clock.
My back is to it.
2:10.
Maybe that's your delivery boy.
Maybe.
Go ahead, answer it. But don't forget, what I said before still goes. The choice is yours. A wrong word, and I'll kill whoever's at the door.
I know.
Elmwood 89325, George Stratton.
Yes?
I'm from the telephone company. An operator's report said they couldn't get through to you. May I look at your telephone?
Of course. Come in.
Someone's been trying to reach you, I guess, and reported. Say, how'd this happen?
Accident.
Accident?
I tripped over the rug and grabbed the phone as I went down. The wires ripped out.
Well, it must have been quite a fall.
It was.
Is that how you hurt your hand?
Yeah.
I will have to reconnect those wires.
Will it take long?
No.
I'm sorry you have to go through the trouble.
Well, that's my job.
Do you get many ripped wires?
Oh, I imagine accidents happen.
Oh, not this kind. The only ripped wire job I ever had, and I'm working for the company for a long time. A friend of mine did, though. He went to the apartment, fixed it.
Was it an accident?
That's what the guy said. My friend found a guy and a gal in there. When he read the papers the next day, found out the gal had been murdered.
And I guess it wasn't an accident.
No. Came out in court later. The guy had ripped the wires out.
It could almost be the same here, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could.
Imagine if you read the paper tomorrow and find out Mrs. Stratton is murdered.
That sure would be a coincidence, wouldn't it? There. That wasn't bad. I'll just test it. Balzac here. Elmwood 89325. Yeah. Right, thanks. All set. No trouble now. That party will be able to reach you.
Thank you. Now, you have your telephone in working order. Silent at last. Or are you only sleepy?
Sleepy? No, I'm not.
You look sleepy.
No, I can't be. The pills.
There's your party.
Oh, yes.
Shall I answer it for you?
No, I'll take it. Hello? Oh, Mr. Street. You were? My telephone was out of order. That's all right. Those things happen. How late? Oh, fine. I didn't plan to use them today. Thank you.
What was that?
My grocer. He was rushed, so he couldn't make up my order. He's doing it now.
Does the delivery due soon?
I don't know.
You look tired, Mrs. Stratton.
No. I've got to stop you.
Can't blame you for trying.
Why are you grinning at me like that?
Are you sleepy, Mrs. Stratton?
No. It's just... It's hot in here.
You look very tired.
I'm not. It's you, sleepy. Your coffee. I put pills in it. My sleeping pills. You'll fall asleep soon, and I'll call the police.
I switched the cups when you went for the sugar.
Oh, no.
Why don't you stretch out on the couch?
I mustn't sleep. I mustn't.
You can't stay awake long.
I've got to wait. George will be here.
What a shame, Mrs. Stratton, to wake up and find your husband dead.
Sophie is here. Open the window.
Certainly. Go ahead and open it, Mrs. Stratton.
Clem, you'll sleep. I'll Call, police. Call. What?
Sleep well, Mrs. Stratton.
You are listening to Miss Lurene Tuttle in Carl Abrams' story, The Tip. Tonight's presentation in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Later this evening on most of these same stations, John Lund makes his latest tour de force as yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Dollar wades in when fraud, murder, and double-cross dovetail neatly with the reappearance of a long missing painting. Listen for the flowering Judas matter involving yours truly, Johnny Dollar, up to his neck in trouble, later this evening.
And now we bring back to our Hollywood soundstage Miss Lurene Tuttle in Elliot Lewis's production of The Tip, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Sleeping. I was sleeping. It was a dream. A nightmare.
I'm afraid not, Mrs. Stratton.
You?
That's right. It wasn't a dream.
How long did I sleep?
Long enough. It's 5:30.
No!
Well, he must be due home soon.
No! He's not coming home. I forgot to tell you.
He gets through about this time. I guess it takes an hour to get here.
Got to get help.
Stay away from that door.
I won't let you kill him.
Away!
Oh, stop.
Maybe this will convince you.
You're joking.
So do as I tell you.
Let go. Let go.
I should have tied and gagged you while you were sleeping.
Why didn't you?
Because it's more interesting this way.
You are a madman.
No, just a little bored with a full day of waiting.
Bored with murder.
No murder has been committed yet, Mrs. Stratton. I'm sure things will be more exciting when your husband comes home.
I won't let you. I won't.
Won't you? I don't think you can stop me. What have you done so far? You tried to drug me, a kid stunt, so it backfired. Worst of all, you've been trying to stop me with brawn. That might be brave, but let's face it, I'm stronger. All you've done is to earn yourself a few slaps and a throttling.
You won't get away with it.
Stop repeating yourself. Sit down. That's better. You see? I already have you taking my commands. But that's to be expected. You're a woman. Women are emotional.
And you're a man. A big, brave murderer who knows how to slap a woman.
It's natural for me to take advantage of my strength in this situation.
And your superior cunning, no doubt.
Oh, I imagine you're just as smart, but not in this kind of setup. As I said, women are emotional. They can't think on a tight spot.
I suppose there's a moral to this little sermon.
Simple. Use your good sense and be still.
And if I refuse?
That's probably your delivery. Open the door. And shall I read?
I know. Not a word.
That's right. No use dragging the delivery boy into this.
Good evening, Mrs. Stratton.
Michael, hello.
I'm sorry this is so late. On top of everything, I forgot your bundle on my last round. I had to go back for it.
Oh, that's all right.
Shall I bring it in for you?
No need to. Doctor, will you take this for me, please?
Sure. Right here, son.
There you are, Doctor.
One moment, Michael. I'll get some change.
Don't bother. I have some. Here.
$50. Thanks, Doc.
Right after 6. Pretty soon now.
You don't know what you're doing.
Not much, I don't. Another 5 minutes. 10 after.
You can't do it. You can't. Please.
He should be here in about 15 minutes.
Kill me instead. Kill me. No.
Open it.
I won't.
Open it.
No. Please. No.
Good evening, madam. I thought I'd stop back. You said you might want to make an order before.
I told you another time.
Oh, you're still here. Sorry, I had hoped you were gone. I didn't mean to intrude again,
Good
but...
boy. Stubborn, isn't he?
He's stubborn. He's
Come on, Mrs. Stratton. Come on. You don't want to miss the fun, do you? Here, have a cigarette. Will calm your nerves.
I don't. Thank you.
Fine. Doesn't look like you ever smoked before.
I smoke. I used to. I'm not accustomed to it anymore.
Oh. Well, drag deep, Mrs. Stratton. We've only got about 10 minutes left.
Hello?
Hi, Millie?
You have the wrong number.
Isn't this Evergreen 35964?
No.
You sure?
Positive.
Well, you sure sound like Millie.
I'm not Millie, whoever that is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Goodbye.
But you sure sound like...
Goodbye.
Annoying at a time like this, isn't it?
What do you think?
I think... Hey, don't you smell something funny?
No.
Something burning.
I don't smell anything.
Well, I do. What'd you do with your cigarette?
My cigarette.
Couch. It's smoking.
Well...
Threw your lit cigarette on the couch, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Well, there's nothing like a fire to attract attention.
Oh, right, you are.
Move.
What are you going to do?
Put your little campfire out. But first, I've got to be sure you're safely out of the way. Move.
No, but this isn't the way out.
I know, right here. Into the closet.
No! I won't!
Get in there!
Let me out! Let me out!
I'll let you out if I can get that fire you started under control. If not, too bad.
Let me out! Please, 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 let me out! Beast!
Is that nice? After I rescued you.
Beast! Beast!
Don't get hysterical, Mrs. Stratton. The fire is out. Raised more smoke when I poured water on it, though, than when it was burning. I hope it didn't frighten you.
I could kill you.
Well, I guess I should have let it burn. Shut up.
It's George.
Come now, Mrs. Stratton. Your husband has a key of his own. Open the door and see who it is. And make sure you get rid of him fast.
Mrs. Stratton, the neighbors, they say they smell smoke.
Smoke?
You better let me look around.
Really, Mr. Raymond, there's no need.
Oh, what's this?
Oh, that. It's all right now.
A cigarette. Slip behind the cushions.
I see. Well, it's all out now.
Only took one pot of water.
I see. Oh, is Mr. Stratton home?
Not yet.
I see.
You see too much.
Well, I don't see anything. I see a lot, but I don't see anything.
All right, you see. Now go.
Huh? Oh, yes. Oh, well, I suppose I'm in the way.
No, Mr. Raymond, you're not in the way. In fact...
Well, that's all right, Mrs. Stratton. I pride myself on not being naive. I understand how things happen. Just be careful not to set the building on fire, please. Goodbye.
What are you trying to do? What kind of ideas were you trying to put into his mind?
They were already there. I can't help the way he thinks. That might be something, though. Husband slain in love nest.
Quiet!
All right. And my apologies if I seemed rude. But don't try it again, or I might use that alibi.
My pills. Oh, please get me my pills.
Get them yourself.
Please.
I told you I wouldn't trust you alone for that long.
I'll be still.
Here, take it.
Hello?
Hi.
George?
I'm down at the station now. You still want to pick me up?
Pick you up?
Careful.
I'd love to.
What's the matter?
Matter? Nothing. Nothing's the matter.
You're late.
George!
Did you get another attack?
No, George.
Hold on, darling. I'll take a taxi.
No, George! No! No, don't come home. Don't come home, George. Don't come home.
The cab just pulled away. He's on his way up now.
Let him talk to you. Give him that one chance.
He'll die as he steps through that door.
Oh, don't shoot him. Don't shoot him.
I can hear him now.
Oh, please, I beg you. Please. I'm not well. I'm not well. Run, George, run. Don't open the door. Run. Run. Run.
Well, Mrs. Stratton?
It worked. She's dead.
Took her long enough. I gave her a pretty hard time.
I don't want to hear about it.
Pretty smart idea you have.
Yeah. I'll pay you off as soon as her insurance comes through.
Sure.
Anybody see you here?
Anybody see me? This place is like Grand Central.
All right. Let's get our story straight, then. We were both here when it happened. You're an old friend.
An old friend.
You spent the day here.
Right.
Okay. I'll call the doctor.
The doctor? I had her so scared she even called me her doctor.
What?
She was so scared she covered my being here by calling me her doctor. When the kid was here with the bundle, she said to me, "Take these for me, doctor."
What kid?
The delivery boy. Mike, I think that name was.
Mike. Michael Court. That delivery boy is Dr. Court's son.
Huh?
Her doctor, the only doctor she's ever had.
Mrs. Stratton. Mrs. Stratton. This is Dr. Court, Mrs. Stratton. Is anything wrong? Mrs. Stratton, open the door. Officer. Open the door. Open up. In the name of the law.
Suspense, in which Lurene Tuttle was starred in The Tip.
By 1960, our population will top 180 million. Every year, there are more families and bigger families creating new consumer needs, asking better roads and transportation, seeking new communities with more elbow space. The future of America can look very bright to you and your neighbors when you think of the new roads, new factories, new services, our increasing population demands. Have faith in the future of America.
Next week, the story of a man who killed and a woman who helped him try to get away with it. It's called Run, Sheep, Run, and it will star Kathy and Elliot Lewis. That's next week on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliot Lewis with music composed by Lucien Morovic and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The Tip was written for Suspense by Carl Abrams. In tonight's story, Herb Butterfield was heard as the stranger and Hy Averback as George. Featured in the cast were Howard McNear, Jerry Hausner, Shep Menken, Dick Beals, and Eddie Fields. And remember, next week, Morton Fine and David Friedkin's new play, Run, Sheep, Run, starring Kathy and Elliot Lewis.
America listens most to the CBS Radio Network.
Oh, that was a cruel one. Lurene Tuttle, the tip from 70 years ago, July 6th, 1954. Known as Sam Spade's secretary, Effie Perrin, on The Adventures of Sam Spade. She was also on The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. She was, for a while, the niece of Marjorie Forrester on The Great Gildersleeve, and other regular roles in a number of places. She guest starred on Dragnet, Lux Radio Theater, Screen Directors Playhouse, a Suspense episode, which I'll try to find, The Sisters with Rosalind Russell, and in The Whistler, she played good and evil twins, used separate microphones to stay in character for each of the twins. It was quite a fun time. She did some films, she did television as well, but we know her best for her radio roles. Lurene Tuttle, Suspense, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Visit our webpage, support us, classicradio.stream. You can also learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. Find our social media links there, and you can also buy me a coffee. That's at classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Coming up next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Well, I guess I should once again mention tomorrow's show, shouldn't I? I really should do that. Tomorrow we'll have comedy with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, My Friend Irma, the CBS Radio Workshop production of You Could Look It Up, also Rogues Gallery, and we'll have an episode of Superman. But right now, up next, Barry Craig, Confidential Investigator.
This is Groucho Marx. A few days ago, I was talking with the Director of Civil Defense, and he told me some things that I feel everyone should know. That's why I'm speaking to you now. Did you know, for example, that your chances of surviving an atom bomb attack are excellent? It's true, but there's a big if. You must do everything possible now to help yourself and your family. Nobody else will help you. Listen, because this is important. Keep a complete first aid kit handy. Keep a closed container of drinking water in your refrigerator, enough for 3 days. Be sure you have a good fire extinguisher. Take a look around your house right now and pick out the safest spot, away from windows and doors. Make sure that every member of your family understands he is to rush to that safe spot when there's danger. I'm convinced that these precautions are necessary right now, and I hope I can convince you. They're important to your family, yourself, and your community.
We appreciate William Gargan and his great acting work on radio and on television and on the screen. What we don't appreciate is cancer taking his voice, which it did. He was set to be cast in a stage show, The Best Man, a play by Gore Vidal. He was going to play a dying ex-president. He had a bout with laryngitis, forced him to get tests on his throat. Cancer. They removed his larynx. He could no longer act. He was done. He worked with the American Cancer Society for years, and he regained virtually all of his speaking ability like he had before. His larynx was taken out. He formed William Gargan Productions, making films and television shows in Hollywood. And then in 1979, following a tour lecturing for the American Cancer Society, he suffered a heart attack, pronounced dead upon arrival at San Diego Center City Hospital. Gargan was still young. He was just 73. Cancer is a B word, isn't it? William Gargan, as Barry Craig Confidential Investigator, from 70 years ago, July 6, 1954, the tough guy.
William Gargan stars as Barry Craig, Confidential Investigator.
If you crave all the elbow room you can get, folks, be sure to have your coffin built to your own specifications.
The National Broadcasting Company presents William Gargan in another transcribed drama of mystery and adventure with America's #1 detective, Barry Craig, Confidential Investigator.
Craig speaking. Live sharply with your senses in high gear, as a confidential cop must. You notice things the average citizen never sees. Little situations that look normal on the surface, but aren't really. Like a loving couple on the subway, the Sea Beach Express, en route from Times Square to Coney Island. A cute red-headed girl with an ice cream look, and a young fellow with an actor's profile. He had an adoring arm around her waist, inside her coat. Young lovers, peaches and honey. Only thing, I could see the hard outline of a gun under the girl's coat. She was acting cozy, all right, by persuasion. Going through a tunnel, I changed seats to chaperone the situation. Nice day.
Huh? You say something?
I asked, what do you think of the world situation?
Hey, what are you, some kind of a nut?
Isn't everybody?
Look, creep, blow.
My seat's paid for.
Well, my ears aren't.
Oh, now, that's an unneighborly attitude. What does your girlfriend think about it?
Mind your business about my girl.
I can't.
You what?
Chivalry. I've got the taint of the Southern gentleman. I once spent a weekend in Chattanooga. I can't ever pass up a lady in distress.
What makes you think she's in any distress?
Isn't anybody with a gun in their ribs?
Look, wise guy, a gun can point two ways and I'll bite your tongue.
Can't do. I'm a lifelong vegetarian.
You can get plugged.
So can you. Even faster than me.
What does that mean?
Cast a downward glance, brother. My right hand in my right coat pocket. If I fired, let's see. Yeah, you'd be shot in the 7th rib.
Who are you?
Sir Galahad. I've got a suggestion to make.
What?
The next station stop, we get off. The three of us. You, me, and the redhead.
If not,
we'll both be disappointed. On the subway platform, I took the obvious precaution. Your gun. Let's have it.
Huh?
Hand over your gun.
Yeah, I guess you would want that. Only thing I'm not so sure...
I got the drop on you.
I know. First shot's yours, then my turn.
You want it like that?
Call me crazy.
Tex, give him your gun. Tex, please.
Looks like Angie's for you, mister.
For you? She doesn't want you dead.
Look, it's my life. You're not getting my gun. I'll have to lose it to you.
Okay. You give me no choice.
Don't, mister. Don't, please. Don't shoot Tex.
No?
He's stubborn, hard-bitten, crazy stubborn. That's his trouble. That's always been his trouble.
You sound like it's been a long time with Tex.
It's been a long time. I know him through and through.
I see. So what's your line on the situation?
Let him go. Just let him walk away.
Take a walk, Tex, sure?
Sure, if you say so. I won't thank you, Angie. My hunch is Galahad here's too yeller to shoot anyway.
Go, Tex. While you can, go.
Sure. I'll be looking you up again. We got unfinished business, Angie.
Now what, miss?
Take me home.
Home was a cheap hall bedroom. An all-iron bed and a linoleum rug with designs of cherubs pointing bows and arrows on it. There was a blue waitress's uniform hanging on a clothes tree.
I wait on tables. Renzi's Chop House. No, I won't be able to.
Tex, huh?
He knows about my job.
But doesn't know your home address?
That's one secret I managed to keep.
What are you two to each other?
Sweethearts. We used to be. We grew up together on Elkin Street off Chatham Square.
Rough neighborhood.
A street killing once a month like clockwork. We became engaged when Tex was 14 and I was 12. A ring he stole from his mother.
You still love him?
How can I?
Yeah. He's a bad actor. What gives between you two now?
I don't feel free to discuss it.
Well, maybe you'd better. He left threatening, quote, unfinished business. Also, I'd worry about his gun if I were you.
I do worry, believe me. I'm up nights smoking and walking the floor.
I'm a cop. Not the regular kind. Private. Confidential. I can handle a situation without being hemmed in by regulations.
Meaning?
I can be a friend.
All right. I'll confide in you. For Tex's sake as well as mine. Tex came out of jail last week. First thing he did was look me up.
Why?
A sealed envelope left with me before he stood trial.
Go on.
Tex was convicted of robbing a payroll messenger. The Hubble Electrical Company. $30,000 was stolen cash. The court never got Tex to tell where the money was. Just took his lump, served 5 years.
He stashed the money away.
I don't know that.
The sealed envelope left with you, it had to do with where Tex had the money. I'm sure you guessed that.
Yeah, I guessed it. But I never opened the envelope. I didn't want it on my conscience. I felt that I owed some loyalty to Tex for what we'd been to each other. I remembered good times we'd had. Times Tex acted civilized and normal.
You turned the envelope over to Tex last week. Then what?
Well, Tex came back the next day. He couldn't find the money. It was gone. He
accused you of a double cross.
Yeah, imagine that I'd steamed open the envelope and then sealed it back.
Where was the money supposed to be hidden?
Well, Tex didn't say, and I don't know.
Are you the only person Tex suspects?
No. He also suspects his brother, Willie. Willie's his twin.
Well, how does he connect Willie with the alleged double cross?
Well, while Tex was up, I'd been seeing Willie.
Oh.
Dates. I needed companionship. I couldn't sit around like a stick of wood. Well, Tex thinks Willie got to the envelope, that I was careless with it.
Where did you keep the envelope?
Oh, there, under the linoleum.
Could Willie have kidded you along just to get at the envelope?
I'd say no. Willie's sweet. The opposite of Tex, hard-working and honest. He drives a laundry truck, works like a dog to get somewhere, but...
But?
Oh, you never know who to trust. You never know who's rotten in his heart.
Yeah. Any money to tide you over while you stay away from Renzi's chop house?
I got $4.
You've got 24 now.
Why are you giving me money?
No strings attached. What good's my helping you if I let you starve to death? Well, so long, I'll be in touch.
Goodbye. And, thanks.
A few doors up from Angie's furnished room, the neighborhood got over-friendly. One resident constituted himself a committee of one to see to my comfort. A fellow with sideburns that ran into his neck.
Hey, you feel something, Pop?
You've got 10 years on me, pal, so how can I be your pop?
Well, my gray hair at an age, I do that on purpose.
Why?
So as I can look distinguished.
Why?
Why? Well, don't everybody want to look distinguished? Hey, you're ribbing me.
And you're ribbing me.
Yeah. I asked you before, do you feel it?
I feel it.
Huh. Sharp, huh?
Another 1/16 of an inch, you'll draw blood.
I got that knife trained that does just what I say.
Tell it to climb back in your pocket.
Ah, the knife says for you to step into the alley.
Which alley?
Oh, pick any one you like.
Okay, that one.
Show the way.
In the alley, I submitted to a frisking.
Hold still.
What, pray, are you looking for?
A gat. How come, fella?
Check my wallet and deduce for yourself.
Oh. Private eye, huh?
Worried?
No, cops don't worry me. I worry them.
A cop fighter.
I was 10 and one shot my old man for nothing. I never forgot.
Shot your old man for nothing?
All he was doing was a saloon stick-up, only for laughs.
Only for laughs?
Yeah, it was a Saturday night, nothing doing, everything dead. The old man wanted to liven things up. And then, boom, and I'm an orphan. Stupid cop.
Sad story.
Well, should I love cops?
No, but don't hate me. I'm private. I work for me.
Now work for me.
What do you want?
I seen you with Angie Palmer, showing her home.
So?
So the dough Angie held for Tex when he was sent up, don't leave Nick out of it.
You being Nick?
Yeah. Me being the Nick that used to beat the ears off of Tex when we was kids, PS 142. 30 G's. And hot money. I've been drooling over it. Who's got it, huh?
I don't know.
Angie or Tex, huh?
I said I don't know.
Or maybe you.
All I've got is what's in my wallet.
$10.
My worldly goods.
Here, take back your wallet. I'm after big stuff. Just like you're after, huh?
Meaning?
Oh, you're after Angie for my reasons.
Maybe.
You make out. Remember, don't leave Nick out of it.
Your knife says.
My knife says. That fence there, you see it?
I see it.
Climb over it and find yourself some other street. I don't want to be seen with you.
I'm hard luck climbing fences. I tear my pants.
Get.
Tex's twin brother, Willie, didn't exactly look the part of a hard-working stiff who drove a launder truck. The suit on him was custom tailored. The shirt under it was pure silk. The ring on his finger had a rock in it the size of a rhinoceros egg. Prosperity all over him in neon lights.
I haven't seen my brother Tex in 5 years.
Trains stop at Ossining.
Oh, Tex warned me never to visit him in Sing Sing.
A feud between you?
We're peas in a pod, only on the outside.
Meaning?
Tex has always given me a bad time, abuse, trouble. He resents my respectability. Being twin to a bad man has its complications.
Such as?
I'd been arrested time and again for something Tex did in the years before he was sent up. Ladies have identified me as a purse snatcher, stuff like that. I'd stand sweating it out in police lineups.
Angie, why are you romancing Tex's girl?
The normal reasons.
Love?
Uh-huh. Head over heels since I was this high.
But Angie's been Tex's girl.
Once. That's over.
The guy your brother is, you're asking for a headache.
I know. It scares me, but it scares me more to give up Angie.
I see. I glean you've had more schooling than Tex.
Night school. I take courses in speech and electronics.
Pointing for trade?
Radio, TV repairman. I figure someday to open my own shop.
Tell me, what's the twist in Tex?
Well, he was a show-off as a kid. He got used to the wrong kind of applause. He'd pull all kinds of petty stuff just to get attention. He couldn't stand being ignored. It drove him crazy, made him feel like dirt. He's still a kid showing off. But don't take my analysis for it. I'm not a psychologist.
I've got a rough question for you.
I think I know it.
Go ahead.
Did I get close to Angie? Or just to nose out where Tex hid the stolen $30,000?
What's the answer?
No.
You have no idea where the loot is?
No idea.
Where can I find Tex? Have you any idea?
It happens I do. In my own way, I keep a corner of my eye on him, concerned for Tex and to protect myself. He's hot-headed and unpredictable. I never know.
Well, where can I find him?
22 Tillery Street, a yard house behind the Corning Iron Works. Tex has always used it as a hideout.
Thanks for the information.
Go easy on Tex, huh? He needs understanding.
He needs a straight steer into his future. He's got a blind wall in front of him. I'm referring to the 30,000. The frame yard house behind the ironworks looked like a strong wind would blow it down. I found Tex in the room that had the smell of last year's rain. He was stripped to his waist, stretched out on an army cot. More in a coma than asleep, his eyeballs popping in a lunatic stare and sweating a hot paste of sweat. Sick he couldn't be sicker, and delirious, babbling in a delirium.
Mistake for Tex. Tex riding high. Here the world. Lousy, no good. 30,000. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Old Dunstan's chicken farm. Walk a line from the coop. Easy. Oh, it's easy to do it. Blindfolded. Easy. Easy as pie. Easy.
Pretty soon I was playing nurse to a hoodlum, bathing his brow and cooling him down. And then his eyes were on me, blind to who I was, and suddenly calm as if the fever had passed.
Oh, you.
Yeah?
The bottle. Shelf over the sink. Reach me a pill, would you?
Sure. Here, now, raise up a little.
Oh, thanks. The pill brings me to. Fine. Oh, I must have passed out.
You were delirious.
Yeah. Fever. I got it in the tropics once. I was a kid on a job in the tropics. Rubber plantation. I was hired out to a surveyor. 40 lousy bucks. The fever. It hits me and goes all the time. It hits me and it goes.
Chronic, huh?
Yeah, chronic. The prison medic had me on shots. You...
What?
Do me another thing, will you? Fry me a couple of eggs. Oh, my stomach. It feels like an empty drum.
How do you like your eggs? He downed 4 eggs and a pot of coffee before he bothered to figure out where he'd seen me before. His eyes began to focus like a veil had dropped.
You're a creep who jumped me on a subway train.
No hard feelings.
What's your game?
Good Samaritan.
The other time you were Galahad.
I'm versatile.
You're either a crook or a cop. Which?
Cop.
Jerk.
But you're prejudiced.
I did 5 years.
For armed robbery. The penalty fit the crime.
Salvation talk.
You can use some.
Some what?
Salvation talk.
Cops hounding me. Look, I paid my debt.
Not quite.
Not quite?
The $30,000 still outstanding. You're still in debt.
I earned that $30,000. 5 years. I lay in a hole for 5 years.
You'll live in the shadows for the rest of your life if you try keeping that money.
My risk. Besides, I haven't got it.
Who has?
Angie or my phony brother Willie.
Or Nick?
Yeah. Oh, Nick. The rat Nick. He was up at Sing Sing visiting Sundays, handing me a carton of smokes and a line. Tip him to where the money was. He'd keep it safe for me. Safe in a pig's eye.
Angie, Willie, or Nick. Anybody else you suspect could have beat you to the money?
McAvoy. The insurance dick in the case. I swear he had a phony look to him. Or you. I wouldn't put it past you.
Everybody's dishonest in your book, huh?
Yeah, sure. The only honest sucker who ever lived was my father. $5 a day digging ditches until he fell dead into one.
What killed him?
The $5 a day. He made 5, he needed 10, period.
Where did you have the money hidden?
Sure, I'll tell you. Why not? It's no secret now. There's a chicken farm up in Yonkers. Dunstan's Chicken Farm. Weekends I candled eggs for old Dunstan, for eats and pocket money. I buried the dough so far from the big coop and so far from Dunstan's tool house. I made a map of the location.
And gave the map in a sealed envelope to Angie.
Angie bribed to you, huh?
You searched up at Dunstan's farm?
Yeah, I searched. Joke.
You might have missed finding it. It could happen.
Baloney. I dug up a half an acre of ground.
Let's have another go at it. At Dunstan's.
Another go?
To really make sure it's gone.
You and me, huh? Wouldn't I be crazy?
We turn up the money, I won't lay a hand on it. It's yours. I'll let you decide for yourself.
Decide what?
Take off with it or give it back. Really clean the slate, Tex. We had 4 hours of digging in the evening quiet of Dunstan's Chicken Farm. What used to be Dunstan's Chicken Farm, that is. Dunstan was gone, and there was a for sale sign on the abandoned property.
I give up.
Oh, my sentiments, too. We've at least dug up an old shoe. Now, if we can find one to match it...
I don't make with the jokes. The money's been snitched. I know it.
Maybe old Dunstan himself.
Don't sell me that.
Or anybody. Some lucky stranger.
Still no sale. It's Angie, my smart aleck brother, or Nick.
Hey, somebody mention my name?
Nick.
Yeah, in person. Hiya, kid.
Greetings. This disposes of one suspect, Tex.
Yeah, how's that?
Nick trailing around after us, letting us dig and watching us. Would he if he had the $30,000?
No. No, I guess not. Unless it's a smart cover-up.
Yeah, don't beat your brains, Tex. I ain't got the loot. Yet. I was sure you two chumps was going to lead me to it tonight.
May I offer my regrets?
Save 'em. So it's Angie or Willie, huh?
Nick, stay away from him.
Says who?
I'm warning you.
Oh, long time since I batted your ears, little man.
Yeah. Yeah, I have taken my lumps from you.
Sure, from kid days up. You've been my pigeon.
Oh, Nick.
What?
Got your knife sharpened?
Yeah, and pointing at both of you.
I noticed. But see what I've got.
What? Hey, a gun.
Cocked and ready. Drop your knife, Nick.
Oh, sure, no argument.
Drop. Tex. Yeah? I've got a hunch about you. That you've taken a lot of guff from people right from the cradle. That it gave you, say, a complex. Made you try awfully hard to pass yourself off as a tough guy. Yeah, I've taken a lot of abuse from Nick here, right? He made me the joke of the block. All the time, the joke of the block. With his fists, fair and square, and the best man wins? Fists, my eye. With his knife. I got scars to show. Then go to it. Go to it? Here's your chance to lick Nick in a fair fight, man to man. Lick Nick and lick a few of your complexes.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I always wondered how I do it, Nick, fair and square. Let's get to it, Nick.
Hey, wait a minute.
I'm gonna beat your brains.
No, now listen.
Show some fight, Nick.
Listen, Tex.
With Nick demolished, we had T-bone steaks for ourselves and a lunch wagon. There was a new shine to Tex. Confidence, but of a different variety than before. Oh, I feel great. I'm glad to hear. Oh, like a weight off me. Like Nick was the symbol of something that had me down. Always had me down. Well, in flattening Nick, you proved to yourself you could make out on the level with honest sweat and toil. Yeah. It flashed through me the exact words you say. I got stuff I don't have to put on. I can be me. But I'm forgetting something. What? The money. The money's gonna pull me down low. Meaning? Somebody's enjoying it. But it's my rap. I'll get the short end of it from the cops, the insurance outfit. They'll never believe I lost the loot to somebody. I gotta put the screws on Angie and Willie. Tex. Yeah. I'll make book that neither Angie or your brother have double-crossed you. Well, why wouldn't they? They're just not the criminal type. That's crazy. While you're learning things, also learn to have a little faith in people. That's gonna come a little tough. Angie's a sweetheart, and your brother's solid gold. Yeah, nice words. Now, about the money. Who got it? I've been picking my brain. No, who hasn't? I've got an advantage. I'm a cop. Meaning you think better? 20 years of the trade gives a man a certain training. Yeah, well, you show me. Your room behind the ironworks. When I came across you earlier today, you were in a coma, delirious, babbling out loud. The fever. The fever. It comes and goes, you said. Yeah, it comes and goes. Now think. Did the fever get you in prison? Yeah, it did. Very bad once. Last year, that was, I was in a hospital for a week. A week of babbling out loud, like you babbled to me in that room. You know some of the words I caught from you while you were delirious? No, go ahead and tell me. Dunstan's chicken farm. Walk a line from the coop. Blindfolded. Do it easy. Wait. Babbling in my delirium. Is that like talking in my sleep? Talking things wild horses couldn't drag from you when you were conscious. The DA and the judge couldn't drag it from me. Neither could the warden. Where was the dough? I laughed in their faces. Now think hard, Tex. If you get my drift. I'm ahead of you. I know who we're after. I got his face in front of me. Who is he? Joey Stutz, a short-timer in Sing Sing. He was an orderly in a hospital. He couldn't do enough for me. With the alcohol and the sponge, with the medicine. Every time I'd come to, there was Joey sitting in my bed. Smart Joey. He got an earful of your babble. Oh, yeah. I made him a present of $30,000. Know where we can look him up? Yeah, I know. I do know.
Wind up a case, you don't always do it to the king's taste. Or should I say, the law's taste. We found Joey Stutz, all right. Living it up big in a Park Avenue duplex. Funny-looking runt of a guy in a Japanese kimono and gold-stitched bedroom slippers. Joey had a surprise for us up his kimono sleeves.
I wondered when you was going to tumble at my little trick, Tex.
Your ears open while I lay in a coma, rat.
It took just 4 days for me to figure out what you were telling me. How to walk 10 yards from a coop and then 5 more left to the tool house.
Cough up the dough.
I can't.
Make it tough, Joey, so
No, take it easy, Tex. Take it easy. I'll give you what I got. Look, here. How much is there, huh? 82 cents.
30 G's, Joey.
Oh, wait till I show you, Tex. Here, look. Canceled checks. See? You total them up, I think you'll get 30 grand, just about.
You went through 30 grand?
Sure, in a year it was easy. I had myself a ball. I had horses and dames and a fancy foreign sports job that I rented. Oh, Tex, it was like a dream come true.
A dream?
Yeah, for 1 year, but you're king of the world. Money to burn, not a care in the world. Oh, Tex, come on, you had the same dream yourself, huh?
Yeah. I had the same dream myself.
Yeah.
I sure had. Climax happened like that. A fortune blown to the winds, and that was all there was to it. I consoled Tex. Craig, what's my situation now? Well, we get the truth on public record. I'd say you're in the clear yourself. Blameless. Free to live the new man. Joey here has a debt to pay.
I'm ready to do time. Because, brother, what I did was worth it.
Yeah, you had more fun. 82 cents left out of $30,000. How did you manage to hold on to 82 cents, Joey?
I got a thrifty streak in me on my mother's side. hey, look, you're grinning, Shummers.
Yeah. I'm thinking how I'm going to take you downtown as you are, in your silk kimono and gold slippers.
Huh?
I want headquarters to see what the well-dressed crook is wearing nowadays. Shall we go, gentlemen?
You have been listening to William Gargan in another exciting transcribed mystery drama from the adventures of Barry Craig, confidential investigator. Tonight's story, The Tough Guy, was written by John Robert. Next week, it's the strange story of murder by error, about which Barry Craig has this to say.
Next week's story, Murder by Error, a footloose husband stubs his morals and almost collapses into the electric chair when a hot pistol sends a cold chill through him. Good night, folks. See you next week.
The National Broadcasting Company has just brought you William Gargan, starring as Barry Craig, confidential investigator, directed by Arthur Jacobson. Heard in our cast were Charlotte Lawrence, Shep Menken, and Larry Dotkin. This is Eddie King speaking.
William Gargan as Barry Craig, confidential investigator, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. So let's check in on the new mama and see if Dad has met his new son. Claudia is next.
Civil defense is common sense. This is Pat Boone. In case of enemy attack, you must know your warning signals. A steady blast of 3 to 5 minutes means tune your radio dial to 640 or 1240. A 3-minute wavering tone or a series of short blasts, take cover immediately.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we wrap up this edition with an episode of Claudia. Claudia's had the baby boy, the son, and let's see what happens now that he gets introduced to David, shall we? It's from 76 years ago, July 6, 1948.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
You're feeling pretty good this morning, Mr. Norton.
I'm feeling very good this morning, Mrs. Brown.
Coming to the hospital to see your son agrees with you.
And being a grandmama agrees with you, Grandma. You know, I think that's what I like best about you.
What? I'm afraid to hear.
You look just the way a grandmother should look. Your hair is white in the right places. You're plump in the right places. You've just the right wrinkles around your eyes. You're a very handsome woman and perfect for the part.
I'm very flattered, David.
Oh, I mean it. There should be more women like you. More grandmothers, I mean.
David, you'll swell this old head of mine.
No fear of that.
My hair's been white in streaks since I can't remember when. Perhaps it's been waiting for just this.
All life waits for this. But some women are afraid to admit it.
David, fatherhood has made you very wise.
Now, don't tell me, Mother, that I'm just like every other newborn father.
No, not at all.
Because I'm not.
Much. Now, if Claudia's still asleep, we can always have a look at young Norton Jr. before you leave.
You know, they seem awfully stingy about showing off babies in this hospital. After he was born last night, all I was allowed to see was a large package of flannel wraps being whisked down the hall.
It's the modern method.
I'll bet he's quite a little man.
Room 802. Here's Claudia's room.
Awfully quiet. She must be asleep.
Maybe she just has nobody to talk to.
Poor Claudia. How unhappy she must be. Do I knock, Mother, or just walk in?
This was your idea. You decide.
Well, I'm not very experienced in this. I don't remember ever calling on my wife the morning after she's had a baby. I'm not quite certain of the protocol.
David, it's been a night. A great deal has happened, but you won't feel like strangers.
You are a mind reader, Mrs. B.
I'm an old lady, that's all.
Never too old to be young, Grandma. I shall knock.
No answer.
She must be asleep.
Nonsense. Claudia asleep? She just didn't hear you. Knock again.
Maybe she's not feeling well.
Twice the reason. Knock again.
Come in, come in, come in.
You see, she hasn't changed at all.
Immutable.
Oh, my shoelace. David, go in while I tie my shoelace.
Come in, come in, come in. What are you waiting for? Oh, David, I hoped it was you.
What are you doing awake? You should be asleep.
What on earth for?
You're supposed to be resting.
I've been awake missing you, darling, for hours. Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Norton. Good morning, good morning.
That's better. Oh, David, why can't you be in the hospital, too?
I wish I... Say, the way you look, I don't know what you're doing here.
I don't either. I feel just wonderful this morning. Especially now.
Did you sleep well?
I slept perfectly. Although I was lonesome even while I was asleep. What about you?
Me too.
You look tired.
Well, I had a pretty tough time last night. You forgot.
Oh, that's right. It was just last night. Congratulations, Mr. Norton. I understand you're the proud father of a proud son.
Ah, that I am.
Do you feel any different?
No, not a bit. Do you?
That's a funny thing. I don't feel a bit different. I thought I'd wake up this morning feeling like somebody else.
Like who?
Like the old woman who lived in the shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do.
Now, we only have one.
So far. But now that I've found out how simple it is, we're going to have dozens more.
Hey, not so fast. Give me time to recuperate.
Oh, darling, it is good to see you. Where's Mom, at home?
Mama's being tactful. She's tying shoelaces outside the door.
I brought her up fine, didn't I?
Just do as well by your own son.
I won't have to. I'll never have to tell him anything.
Little dreamer. Hey, Mother, the big moment is over. You can come in now.
We don't mind your intruding, really. We don't.
You two children, you're not alone in this hospital. Shh, there are sick people here.
Not on this floor. Everybody's had babies. Good morning, Grandma.
Good morning, Mother. You're looking very chipper.
Why shouldn't I?
No reason I can think of.
I even had breakfast in bed.
Shame on you.
Oh, they insisted. You just simply can't argue with a nurse, David. They go about their business as if the patient didn't exist.
That is not going to be as easy for your nurse as she thinks.
And I simply can't understand why they keep treating me like a patient. David, when are you going to get me out of here?
No sooner than you're supposed to.
But I feel fine.
Don't you consider that Mama and I need a rest?
Oh, that's right. You're not as young as I am. I always keep forgetting. Just keep forgetting.
Well, just see that you don't. I'm years and years older than I really am this morning.
Listen to him. When all's said and done, even David is only a man.
And I never realized the limitations more clearly than last night.
Poor David. It's not your fault.
That makes me feel a lot better. Darling.
Yes, what?
Nothing, only have you seen your mother's grandson this morning?
Face it, David, he's yours.
Yes, I saw him. They brought him in for me to hold his bottle.
Very modern, this hospital.
Oh, yes, it's the latest method. We're supposed to get acquainted. David, at the risk of sounding silly, he's so beautiful.
Of course he is.
You weren't so bad yourself, Claudia.
Why, Mama, all these compliments. I should have a baby more often.
You were telling me what he looked like.
Haven't you seen him?
Just fleetingly last night. This morning, you're my first call. I've known you long.
Don't ever forget. Well, he has hair, David. Funny little hair. I think it's sort of the color of yours.
Mm.
And when he opens his eyes, they're blue.
Sort of the color of yours.
Well, mine are only sort of, but his are really blue.
All babies have blue eyes.
Mother, you sound jaded.
It's true, David. Ask any authority you like.
I don't have to.
Our son's eyes are the best authority.
Listen to her bursting with motherly pride already. You two are going to be impossible.
Your mother, Claudia, takes great glee in pretending to be crusty.
It's better than syrup.
Just ignore her, and you can go on telling me about young Mr. Norton.
Well, there's really nothing to tell, except he's so sweet. And I like him much better than I expected to.
Well?
He holds his hands in little fists.
That's good and manly of him. He'll probably be a fighter.
Oh, stop.
He has perfect little fingernails.
So soon?
They're born with them.
Every child?
Every single solitary child. I'm sure there's nothing exceptional about yours.
Mama's right. There's no one thing exceptional, except that he's completely exceptional.
And to prove that, I think the thing for you and me to do, Mother, is to walk down the hall and have a look at him.
Oh, I wish I could come too.
Now, you just stay right where you are. Don't you go jumping out of bed until the doctor says you can.
Dr. Rowland's going to be here this afternoon, and I intend to have a good talk with him. None of this pampering for me. I'm going to come home just as soon as I can.
What's the matter? Don't you think we can get along without you?
We're doing just fine, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but it's me. I can't get along without you.
Oh.
And then every time I'm just getting acquainted with our son, the nurse whisks him in and carries him off. I wish I were in China.
Well, that's a new thought. Why China?
In China, in case you didn't know it. Women hoe fields the day after their children are born.
You don't say.
Even the hour after the children are born. I saw it in a movie once.
Oh.
You were there.
Oh.
I don't know why, just because I happen to have a baby in New York, I have to stay in bed spending all this money as if I'm sick or something.
Now, shut up and stop worrying about money. Come along, Mother. We'll go pay our respects to the heir of the Norton fortune.
There won't be any fortunes at this hospital's rate.
That is my business.
Oh, David, be sure you come back before you go away.
I'll be back, darling. You just sit back and rest. I'll be back.
I'll miss you.
Well, she's the same Claudia. Motherhood hasn't made a particle of difference.
She's still young. She'll be up and around before you know it.
I thought it'd be a lot worse than it is. Thank goodness it's over.
And over so well. Now, we'd better call the nurse.
What on earth for?
Well, to point out your son for us through the glass window of the nursery.
Well, I don't need anybody to point him out. You forgot I'm the boy's father.
I don't forget, but babies have a way of all looking very much alike.
Honestly, you women. Well, I'd know my boy out of 100 children.
You would, eh?
Yeah, besides which Claudia described him to us.
Very accurately.
Now, you'll see. Every father knows his son. Ah, here's the nursery.
Goodness, what a lot of babies.
Yeah, I wish I could catch their eye. Then I'd know for sure. Now, let me see.
The blue ribbons are the boys, David.
Mm-hmm. And my son is one of 6 boys.
Oh, look at that one with his hands curled up close to his face.
No. He's too small. They certainly look angry when they're asleep. Oh, there he is, Mother.
Where?
There he is, second from the left in the last row.
That one?
I know that's he.
But, David, that
baby is ours.
You're sure?
I'm positive. He's got Claudia's nose.
Go on.
And look at that complexion. Perfect. He looks fine, big. You can tell he's a country boy just by looking at him. Oh, he's going to make one sockdologer of a swell fisherman.
Give him a few years.
Quick, Mother. Mother, does he look as if he's smiling?
It's gas.
Oh, all right, so it's gas. He still looks as if he's smiling. He's a good big baby, isn't he?
Enormous for 8 hours.
I wish he'd open up his eyes so if I could see whether they were blue or not.
I repeat, all babies have blue eyes.
Yeah, just the way I expected him to look. I don't mind saying I'm proud to be that baby's father.
Your wife told me you came down the hall to have a look at your son, Mr. Norton.
Oh, yes, nurse. We're just getting acquainted. It's all right, isn't it?
Well, if you like, I can bring him right up to the window so you can see him better.
You could? Well, I wouldn't want you to wake him up.
He won't wake up. At his age, babies don't wake up very easily. I'm sorry we can't bring him out to you, but you can mentally shake his hand.
David, you're leaving a nose print on the window.
Oh, so I am. See, the nurse is going right to that crib. I knew that's my son. You women, you think a man has absolutely no instinct for this. Hey, wait a minute. She's going to the wrong crib. Hey, nurse.
She can't
Hey,
hear
nurse.
you, David. You better not make such a commotion.
Mother, she's gone right by him. You'd think she'd look at the cards at the bottom of the bed or something.
She's picking up a baby,
Hey, nurse.
David.
Look at that tiny little one. Hey, nurse, not that one.
Now she's coming up to the window with your son. He's a darling.
Is that my son? That puny little red thing?
He's only 8 hours old, David. That's the best he can do for you.
Are you sure that's it, though?
That's it, I'm sure.
Oh.
Isn't he sweet? All oiled up.
Grandma, we have been robbed.
Oh, I imagine we'll be able to put up with him, David.
In summertime, hospitality moves out of doors. Mom sets a luncheon table for her guests on the porch or in the garden. The young people have gala parties as easy as you please out under the trees. And always Coke provides delicious ice-cold refreshment at these gatherings, whether they're planned or impromptu. You couldn't ask a simpler formula for pleasant hospitality than a case of Coca-Cola. Your grocer or service station attendant will be glad to put a case in your car today.
Say, Joe, why didn't you tell me what to expect?
Oh, I figured you'd find out soon enough.
Yeah, but he's so small.
Well, he'll grow.
He'd better. I'll be scared to have anything to do with him.
You'll get used to that, too, David. Speaks the veteran.
Well, tell me, veteran, did your wife perk up as quickly as Claudia?
That's something else you'll find out about.
What do you mean?
Well, they feel fine the next day, but tomorrow...
Not so good, huh?
Well, you'll be seeing Claudia tomorrow, so you can get your information firsthand. But don't worry, David. A little loot will put the light back in Claudia's eyes.
I'll figure that one out tomorrow. So long, Joe.
And congratulations, David. Every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again tomorrow at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. This broadcast of Claudia was supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
76 years ago, July 6, 1948, Claudia here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Comedy coming up tomorrow with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. Marie Wilson is My Friend Irma, an adaptation of the Thurber You Could Look It Up, the CBS Radio Workshop, the Rogues Gallery starring Dick Powell, and, of course, another episode of Superman. Visit our webpage at classicradio.stream, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.